The Silver Skull, Bernadotte's cursed keepsake. Bernadotte never spoke of what followed that freezing night at Urubru, but the men who served him watched a change ripple through their prince. Where once he carried himself with the easy confidence of a soldier born, now he moved like a man haunted, his gaze flickering to empty corners, as if expecting silver filigree to materialize in the air. Winter turned to spring, and the thaw revealed no sign of the reliquary beneath the moat's ice. Yet rumors spread faster than meltwater, and soon foreign envoys arrived not to negotiate treaties but to inquire, discreetly, about the state of Bernadotte's mind. Court physicians, summoned from Paris and Vienna, offered conflicting diagnoses: melancholia, salt poisoning, even latent tuberculosis. None could explain the nightmares he confessed in writing, dreams of snow turning to blood, of bone-white hands reaching from the ground to drag him into darkness. Desperate for relief, Bernadotte turned to Sweden's oldest mystics. At candlelit seances in the palace's hidden chambers, mediums claimed to hear the voice of the exiled nobleman rebuking the marshal for a centuries-old betrayal, how, in life, the nobleman had been promised mercy under Bernadotte's ancestors' banner, only to be abandoned on the field when the tide turned. The medium's eyes would roll back as silver dust seemed to swirl at the edges of lantern light, and attendees swore they felt a chill wind blot out the candle's flame, even when the windows were sealed. One evening, as the medium intoned an incantation in a forgotten dialect, Bernadotte slipped from his chair. He shook with sobs, pressing a hand to his temple as if to stop the thunder in his skull. Guards rushed forward, but when they turned the lights back on, the medium lay still. And the prince was gone. They found him in the gallery, kneeling before a portrait of his French wife, Désirée, tears trailing down his cheeks. He whispered, "Forgive me," and for the first time spoke of mercy, not for himself, but for the skull's owner. A hush fell over the court. Bernadotte ordered the palace crypts unlocked, and there, in a marble alcove beneath layers of dust, he found a simple wooden box marked with a faded heraldic crest. Inside lay a parchment. An apology from his ancestor, buried with the nobleman, along with a single silver laurel leaf, an emblem of peace. They say Bernadotte held the leaf to his heart until his graying lips passed the words, "Even the dead seek justice." That night, the winds howled, but within the palace walls, a different storm raged in Bernadotte's soul. He drafted letters to the nobleman's distant heirs, offering restitution and requesting prayers in eternal memory of the fallen. When those letters were sealed, he sat by the hearth for hours, clutching nothing but the emptiness where the skull once lay. Slowly, the prince resumed his duties. He led armies, negotiated alliances, and, in his later years, championed reforms that softened the harsh edges of monarchy in Sweden. Yet those closest to him noted a permanence to his compassion. He pardoned deserters who'd long been hunted, tutored orphan children of soldiers, and in one decree even abolished a brutal punishment modernizing the realm's justice. They whispered that each act of mercy was a tribute to the skull's spirit, a way to lay the dead to rest. By the time Bernadotte ascended Sweden's throne, the legend of the Silver Skull had faded into the realm of fairy tale. But at dawn on the anniversary of the reliquary's casting, he'd stand at his window, gazing toward the frozen moat at Urubru, and for a heartbeat his eyes would cloud, as though he expected to see gleaming silver awaiting retrieval. It was said that on those mornings, he'd softly recite the old Swedish phrase he never fully understood, "Vengeance," before turning away, resolute. When, decades later, Désirée found his journals, sealed until her death, they contained entries not of conquest but of penance. "Mercy is the only weapon that can shatter a curse," he wrote. Yet even mercy must be given freely, or it, too, becomes a chain. Beneath those lines, a final notation, a sketch of a silver skull, cracked and empty, its laurel leaf resting gently on the forehead. Today, historians debate whether the reliquary ever truly existed. No museum catalog lists its arrival, no archive holds the prince's letters. But in the whispering corridors of Swedish lore, in the quiet halls of Örebro Castle, you can still sense its echo, a reminder that power without compassion invites its own specters, and that to carry a curse, you need only refuse to forgive. And so, Bernadotte's silver skull remains an enduring myth, not of horror unending, but of redemption earned. Because sometimes, the dead demand nothing more than the chance to be remembered with grace.